Awesome.
Peaceful.
Magical. The sheep.
Magnificent.
Stunning.
Skier.
Icy hot.
Weird.
Empty.
Photogenic.
It's an in-betweener.
My name is M. Jackson, and I am a doctoral researcher at the University of Oregon, where I'm working on a PhD studying glaciers and climate change in the Arctic. Iceland is unique for a variety of reasons, whether you're talking about geological reasons. The landscape is really unique. There's huge glaciers, there's huge volcanoes, there's really unique people with really unique culture, with a history that is extraordinary, especially in comparison to many other places in the world. But I love Iceland, and I come up here because this type of landscape makes me feel the most alive, more than I have in any other place in the world. And so a big part of Icelandic identity is embedded in the landscape, in what happens out here. The volcanoes, the glaciers, the mountains, memories are stored in the landscape. So as a researcher, what we try to think about here is what happens when that landscape changes at a huge rate. Climate change is often narrated as these weather-related events that are affecting people. But climate change also affects who we are as human beings on this planet. And that's what makes Iceland unique. Because who an Icelander is, which is deeply tied to the landscape, is changing because the landscape itself is changing in a large part because of climate change. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, when a great deal more carbon was added, we added it to our atmosphere. While the ice will come and go in small increments, we're seeing it go more than it's coming. Glaciers are melting, and they're melting at a much quicker rate. Scientists are predicting that by 2050, the majority of the glaciers that you can easily see from the ring road, you won't be able to see them anymore. How can an individual prevent catastrophic change? I don't think an individual can stop climate change, because in the whole scheme of things, as individuals, it's hard to do that. It's hard to have an effect at that scale. What needs to happen is one individual has to talk to another individual, who talks to another one and another one and another one and another one, so that one individual no longer stands all by themselves out there in the wilderness. And that's not going to necessarily stop climate change today. But what it'll do is it'll slow it, and it'll better prepare us to deal with the conditions we have now and the ones that are coming around the bend. If we can tell stories, if we can say, I grew up under the shadow of this enormous glacier that my father walked on, that my grandfather and his grandfather walked on, that's part of the stories of where I live and who I am. And when I look out my kitchen window, it's not there anymore. That's the story that tells you about what's happening in this world.